Hi Virgo, it's Jenny here, ready with your March Tarot horoscope. So we're just going to be pulling a single card for the month of March and seeing what's coming up for you. So the first 2/3 of March or so is the end of Pisces season. And Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac, so it's the end of the energetic year. And then once we hit the March equinox and roll over into Aries season, then we're going to be starting a brand new energetic year. So this month has kind of got a lot of feeling of endings of cycles and beginnings of new ones. It's kind of like a New Year's vibe, but in an energetic sense rather than the calendar year. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at. So I'm just going to keep shuffling here until here. Grab that one. Okay. Hold on a minute. Let's see which card you've got. Okay, we've got the Five of Wands in reverse for you today. So this is what it looks like the right way up. So it looks kind of messy. Like there's a lot happening here. There's these five wands all kind of cross-thatched to each other. There's this kind of smearing of red at the beginning or in front here and a few different butterflies. And what they're obscuring is in the background here, there's this, it's like a bunch of soldiers in armor with their spears up here, but you can't really see it very well because of what's happening in the foreground. And it came out reversed like that, okay? So we're just going to see what Five of Wands has to say this month. Okay, Five of Wands, shaping your will. Wands stand for instinctive drives and initiative and represent the fire element. Five wands are the essence of the fire element, the human will. Our will is made up of our deeds and intentions, our consciously chosen actions, and our unconscious motives. As long as the fire of life burns, your will is constantly being reshaped. In the background, 7 or 8 helmets of lance bearers and 12 lances can be seen on this card. Each one of the 12 lances and of the 5 green wands represents a certain type of energy. As if participating in a huge game of pick-up sticks, it is your task to gather up this energy, to sort through it, and to focus it on something worthwhile. Different interests and tendencies are always pulling in different directions. What has first priority? How can several goals be attained at the same time? An integral part of this process of shaping the will is for existing role models to become obsolete. The red area in the middle of the card stands for your personal fire, your power and vivacity, creating new facts that go way beyond traditional experiences, thus dismissing those redundant conceptions. Do not spread your energies too thin. Center yourself. See your current tasks as tests of your determination, your willpower, and your playfulness. Find out which aspects of your will are in harmony with your desires and so able to get something moving. Find out which acts of will are superfluous because you are still trying to force something to happen that is actually no longer relevant or has yet to become so. Practical advice. Create space in your daily routine. This might include taking some time out or establishing your own room. New alternatives are waiting to be explored and tested in your personal relationships and in your career. Go for it. Okay, so this is in certain decks, this card can kind of be like a card of a lot of like tension or like things kind of like falling all over the place and kind of struggling to like maintain shape and like kind of grasp onto your energies. So this card is kind of like, it's giving you a bit of like a specific tip on if like it kind of feels like I kind of like have my energies all kind of thrown around a little bit, or like it doesn't feel like these wands are not all standing up in a row or forming a very conclusive shape or like in a really supportive stable structure. They're all just kind of like thrown all over each other. There's some sorting out of something that is still required. It's not like we're in a position of we're already ready to go. We have to get ready to be ready to go. So it's sort of like this preparation stage, which really has to do with getting in alignment with, like we're seeing here, getting your desires in alignment with your willpower. So if your willpower is like your ability to initiate action, that which drives you into actually taking action, and fire energy wand elements is very much about drive, action, instinct, all of those kinds of like igniting forces. So that's like the ability to push, the ability to move forward. But that's the push without necessarily the direction. Like if you have strong willpower, you have the strong ability to create or manifest, but you need to know what that target is. Like, what is it that you actually want? What is your focus of your willpower? What is it that you are actually wanting to attain with this force of initiative? So that, like, your willpower, this engine, is only going to be able to be put to use if you know what it is you want. And that's where your desires are a part of this figure, of knowing what is it that you want, what's the end goal, what's the desired state, either as something that you want to attain, or it's like that negative desire that, like, I don't want that, I want to get away from a certain in like situation that you desire to be away from something. So desire is like that thing that's pulling you, that it's the target. And so if you have only your desire but no willpower, you're just going to kind of sit around and wish that you had something, or be upset and uncomfortable with where you are, but you're not actually going to be able to push yourself to take action on what it is that you want. If all you have is willpower, you just got all this energy to throw around, and kind of agitating to do something, but without direction, then you can just kind of be this sort of cyclone, either destructive force of trying to agitate because you think you want something which you haven't figured out what it is, or this kind of like boredom, and just sort of diffusing that willpower of, I had this energy, I don't know where to put it, so you just sort of like run in circles, or get like just really demoralized, and then you kind of, that willpower fizzles out, like lighting a flame but not having enough like fuel for it to burn off of. Then it's just going to spark and then kind of die out. So this is this opportunity to, like, we want to get those two in alignment and figure out what do you desire, and then, like, is your willpower going to get you there? And if those are all kind of not lined up, then we're not gonna have a good time. So this is a really, like, if you think about it, this is a really great card for this turning over of into the energetic new year, because when we think about the calendar year, we're thinking often about resolutions and thinking about the year that just passed. What did we learn? What did we like? Did we accomplish what we wanted? How would we do things differently? And then what is it that what we want now? So it's this whole resolutions is tuning into what your desires are, and then, like, setting that goal is like promising and committing your willpower to achieving that desire. And so this is a great time to be doing this as we turn over this energetic year. So with this beginning of March, we're still in Pisces season, and Pisces season is there's a lot of different energies at play, but one of them is about dreaming. So it's not at the stage of manifesting and working hard to get something. It's about thinking about what is beyond possible. Like, possible is kind of the easy step of what we know we can go get, but Pisces is about dreaming beyond that, of like fantasizing the really big dreams of, if you're like, well, if I had a magic lamp and a genie and I could have anything I wanted, this is what I'd want. So it starting with this impossible dream of the biggest possible net of what you could conceive of what you could want, and then from there you can start to work into building, sorry, a little burp there, you can work into, like, bringing that impossible dream into more tangible dreams of how you can start to get there. So this stage is sort of like that, thinking about your desires and trying to get your desires in line, is what do I really want? Like, what, and if you can look back in this past year, what did you experience? What are the things that you wanted and you received, and how did that make you feel? Did you really feel satisfied, and like that desire was really something that was really edifying for you? Or did you like get it and be like, oh, that was actually, I guess, sort of just a whim that I didn't really feel like it helped me to get, so maybe I need to be a little bit more specific on focusing on, like, making sure my desires are actually not just a whim. Or maybe there were things that you really wanted and you didn't get. Are those things still important to you? Are you wanting to kind of go around too and say that, yes, those are things I also really want to focus on this year? Or in not getting them, did you realize, I really don't feel like I'm that worse off without these things, so maybe it's not actually that important to me. So that's this, like, looking at this past energetic year since last March equinox, and trying to think about things of desire and how that worked for you, and that's going to then help you dream into this space and say, okay, in light of this past year, what is it that I really still desire? What is it that's really still, like, burning and getting me excited about or again, in that negative sense, or what are the things that I'm really not okay to put up with anymore? Things that I really don't want anymore. This could be things like quitting an addiction or a habit or something that like, ugh, like it just pulls on me. It just pulls on my energy, and I'd really, really want to get out from under that kind of heavy weight. Or it could be, well, I mean, all kinds of things. Could be work related, could be family related, living situation. I mean, in this time of COVID and now we're pretty much hitting 2 years of the pandemic, there may be all kinds of desires related to that, of dreaming of, well, what is it that I really would like to do when I have a little bit more opportunity in the health and public realm? Or things like, wow, yeah, I really found in the last couple, not just this last year, but these last 2 years, that like things really changed in my perspective. What really matters to me? Do I really want to commit to healthier living? Do I want to commit to building more into my relationships because I just didn't see my friends for 2 years? Like, these are all really important questions to ask, and that's what it would probably be the main focus this beginning of March up until the spring or the March equinox there. So that's sort of what I'd suggest to follow into the Pisces, the Pisces energy. And then when we hit equinox, that's the start of Aries season. And Aries season is the start of the new year. It's fire energy, just like this card, the Five of Wands. Aries is fire as well. And so it's all about new life. Aries is the new beginning. It's a new spark. It's this possibility, but it's still in the infantile stage. It's not like necessarily a full-fledged 10-year plan or a full already actualized habit. It's this new start. So there's still this sort of unformed quality to it, of it's just the beginning, and it can grow into all kinds of different things. So what you don't necessarily need to have after doing like this work with your desires, you don't necessarily have to know the whole, like the finished product of what you want. We're still just starting out in a new year, and you probably, even if you could have guessed where you'd be right now last year, you probably wouldn't be. You might get the shape of things right, but you wouldn't be right on all the details that happen. So we're not trying to like set ourselves a rigid plan right now. It's just the possibility. It's the start of a new adventure. It's the start of a new energetic year. And so what we really just need is to get that spark and a little bit of kind of kindling of some ideas of what we really want to focus on. And that's when we can then put our willpower to work. Once we've sorted out our desires, and then we spark up that new kind of excitement in Aries season, that's the bringing in the willpower. That's the, okay, I'm really jazzed about this idea of what I really want, but I'm not just going to sit and dream about it anymore. The dreaming was good, but if I stay there too long, then my life's just going to kind of run me by. And so this is now bringing this marrying of these wands. It's kind of like if we started out with these wands all kind of like jaggled up together. By now we're kind of wanting to get them at least sort of aligned, and at least going in, not like crosshairs to each other, but going in some sort of direction. As another symbol that is part of the Salvador Dali deck, and in other decks as well, is this idea of butterflies as being symbolizing transformation, which is fairly easy to get on board with. Caterpillar goes into the chrysalis and transforms into a butterfly, and that can kind of bring a lot of things to mind. But right now, for me, that's the fact that your beginning little stage, like a caterpillar, looks really pretty unrelated to where it ends up. The butterfly is an entirely different beast, and so we're still going to be at this, It's kind of like on the one hand, we're going to be in a new caterpillar stage because we're kind of starting back into this baby phase of Aries and this new possibility of the new year that we're going to become something, but it's also this chrysalis stage because we are switching from the old year into the new year. So in a way, this I'm really going to mix my metaphors here. There's these caterpillars, but it's and this transformation of butterflies. But I'm sort of like, to me it's sort of flipped on its head. It's like if the year from Aries to Pisces is a caterpillar, and then you undergo sort of trials and tribulations, and you transform into this new butterfly by the end of the year. It also kind of then reverts back, though. It's like the butterfly goes back into its cocoon, becomes a caterpillar again, and starts the cycle anew. So it's like this sort of like this phoenix butterfly. Really work with me here, okay? That this cycle, that it's not just a linear start here and end here and then it's done. it's a spiral. So you start and go and undergo this transformation, and then you come what seems like right back into the beginning, but it's the new stage of where you are. So it's a spiral that each time you go through this transformation and you kind of start back in this caterpillar state again to become something new, then you've got this opportunity to expand these cycles out and to keep kind of moving forward. If that metaphor didn't work for you, that's okay. Worked for me, but maybe needs some work. So anything else that I want to bring up here? I think actually that's pretty much what I'm going to leave you with. The only other thing is just that this last little bit here, don't spread your energies too thin, and give yourself some space and like personal time as well. Like that there might be a lot of other people's emotions kind of coming at you, especially in Pisces season where we're a little bit more receptive to the energies and the emotions of others. Then also in equinox, when we hit Aries season, everybody else is going to be tapping into this Aries fire as well. So there might be a lot of people that are like really trying to actualize their own will. And so a lot of, some people might be very, I guess, less compromising and less about the collective energy and more just honing in and focusing on their particular goals, which might mean that, you might kind of butt heads with other people that are going their own way. So in that, to avoid conflict or to avoid overwhelm, really just making sure that you are, you have your own boundaries, that you're not overcommitting to other people's things. It's a correct time once we hit Aries season to hone in a little bit more on your own goals rather than to be looking out and focusing on helping other people. So that for you might be a bit of a challenge, Virgo, as there's one of the Virgo energies is being in service to others and helping and really working and rallying to help other people. So this is also a really important kind of like time to be like, hey, like focus in on what your desires and your goals are. Other people can tend to themselves, or you can still help them kind of at a later time, but you really do want to be centered in what your desires and your will are moving you towards before you then also reach out to others. So if you can create some space and not spread your energies too thin, be okay to say no to certain things if you like. And just give yourself that space to really try to get all of these wands and your desires and your willpower lined up. And so that's what I've got for you for this month. So that's it for the horoscope for March. But I am going to be starting the first of my Pay What You Can zodiac forecasts. So starting on equinox at the beginning of Aries season, I'm going to be doing a tarot and astrology workshop for Aries season. It's going to be for the collective. It's not for individual signs, so it's going to be relevant for everybody. And like I said, it is Pay What You Can. It's going to be hosted on this YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that on equinox and come see me then. So I wish you the best of this March, Virgo. Take care.